I'm Tom and I'm a wellbeing coach at Isorropia. The topic I'm looking at today is the role of a sense of belonging. For many of us, having a sense of belonging is important for our well-being, especially when we think of the associations and labels we assign to ourselves. We may see ourselves as a member of a family, a quiz team, holiday club, a faith group, a social support group, a political movement, or maybe a geographical location, a country, a national or ethnic identity. I'm sure I've missed many other possibilities. But numerous aspects of our lives are related to a sense of belonging to something or somewhere. Depression, anxiety, hopelessness and suicidal ideation are common mental health problems associated with lacking a sense of belonging. These conditions can also lead to social behaviours that go on to further inhibit our ability or inclination to connect to others. This can create a cyclical process which progressively diminishes any sense of belonging. As far back as the earliest humans, we have lived in social groups. It's why we can identify concepts such as kinship, community and society in human interactions throughout all human history and anthropological study. From time to time there have been hermits and others who've chosen consciously to have a solitary life, but they have been the exceptions. For the vast majority of us, it's impossible to totally separate the importance of a sense of belonging from our physical and mental health. The social ties that we experience while feeling this appreciation of belonging is actually a protective factor in helping to manage our stress levels. When we feel we are supported and not alone, we often cope more effectively with the challenging events in our lives. When we manage to find a way through the hardships that life throws at us, we decrease the physical and mental impact of these types of situations. So a sense of belonging has a beneficial, strengthening and healing effect. Human beings are motivated to establish a certain amount of stable and positive interpersonal relationships, according to the study by Baumeister and Leary in 1995. There is also extensive evidence to support the need to belong theory. There is a strong positive relation between an individual's sense of interpersonal belonging and their ratings of happiness and subjective well-being. And I'm quoting from McAdams and Bryant's work in 1987. As infants, we begin our lives with the most fundamental of needs, which is an attachment to a caregiver. This is the root of our need for belonging. Science shows us that children who do not experience healthy attachments during their younger years can have lower self-esteem, a more negative worldview. They're more mistrustful in general, or can have a keener fear of rejection. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, belongingness and love needs comes in the third section of the pyramid. After the physiological needs, that's things like food, water, shelter, etc. And then the safety levels needs. There are essentially two types of belonging to ourself and belonging to others. Belonging to self is the feeling of accepting who I am as an individual and that I'm okay with, in some ways, being different to other people. I could be confident and emotionally secure with myself in different situations. I don't have to change who I am to be okay with myself. Walker and Avant have defined a sense of belonging in relation to others as the experience of personal involvement in a system or environment so that persons feel themselves to be an integral part of that system or environment. The questions to ask ourselves when we consider how, as individuals, we relate to the concept of belonging are: when do I feel the strongest sense of belonging in myself? What situations challenge my sense of belonging? What groups of people do I feel safest with? We may find there are times or circumstances where we feel a lack of this feeling of belonging. So what actions can we take to give an uplift to our sense of belonging? Firstly, develop an open mind. Investing in your own work and making your healing journey a priority is critical to achieving a sense of belonging. This means trying new activities and meeting new people, considering new ways of thinking, and practicing an attitude of acceptance. Recognise that others have different ways of being which don't have to change you. Focus on the similarities rather than the differences. Concentrate on things you have in common with people around you rather than what sets you apart. Second, challenge any unhelpful core beliefs. If you grew up feeling different, you might have developed a core belief of, I do not belong. These types of beliefs can solidify over time and shape your view of the world. As we go through life, our brain then only pays attention to the evidence we feed it that supports the core belief. So with the core belief of I do not belong, even if the overall experience is one where you in reality do belong, you might give more weight to the one interaction with another person where you felt you didn't belong. 3. Practice unconditional self-acceptance. A lot of my feelings of lacking belonging stem from a deeper well of beliefs about my unworthiness. Thoughts like, people don't understand me, people don't get me, people don't recognise me, and don't appreciate me. One of the ways to move on from the painful feelings of not belonging is to practice self-love and unconditional self-acceptance. 4. We might have to make an effort. A vital ingredient of building a sense of belonging is our own efforts. We cannot experience belonging if we don't choose to engage with others. Some suggestions are, keep a lookout for others who share your interests, likes and dislikes. Try out new activities or offer to share your activities, hobbies and interests with others. A skill I had to learn was to call a friend or family member and remember to actually ask how they were doing and ask what they had been up to. This meant I wasn't just giving them yet another list of all the problems and grievances in my own life. I tried to make space so they could talk about their life too. Some practical tips include, look into what sports, social or cultural groups are available that might add a bit more fun to life. Participate in Isoropia's social media content, like interacting with our Facebook pages. You could volunteer for a cause you care about. Think about what sort of employment you'd actually like to be doing, which would then bring you into contact with colleagues you can relate to. Maybe try out a club that is focused on one of your interests and see if you feel like you belong. You could contribute to our online content and share your expertise with other Isorropia members. Or plan a future outing or a visit with someone that you care about, or maybe someone you'd like to get to know better. It's certainly the case that in lockdown and COVID times, some options really aren't happening right now. But simply getting your mindset to a place where you're exploring options that you might wish to try, when the rules and circumstances allow, will be a healthy start on a journey to feeling a greater sense of belonging. One final thought. You are already worthy and do not have to be like anyone else. Accept the great person you are at this moment in time. If people like you, and we all like you, then you're okay. And if you come across anyone that doesn't like you, then you're okay as well. See you again for another topic video very soon.